Tesla's got some hot competition in Japan. Yes, the land of the rising sun has got some big players, but are they going to make it in the EV space? Well, time will tell, and so will I. I've got Mark, my buddy here, joining me. We're going to discuss Mazda. We're going to discuss Honda. We're going to discuss, who knows, maybe even Mitsubishi? Is that who we're talking about? No, we are not. We're talking about Suzuki. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. It has been one of those days, Mark. I almost said the old channel name, but I saved it at the last second.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. In the early days of the rebrand, the editor would sometimes have to fix that. So that's great. Hey, you know who's a big zero? You know who plans to sell zero? I'm saying it all wrong. Honda reveals 2 Zero Series EVs to be produced in Ohio. Now, I'm not familiar with the province, the Japanese province, the prefecture of Ohio, but that is where Honda plans to build their newest electric vehicles at a multi-billion-dollar manufacturing complex in Ohio.
Well, that's news because, of course, Honda had announced a big factory upgrade here in Ontario to help with EVs as well. So
that's all like fantastic.
They're doubling down.
And confusing. Now, here's a problem. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Tesla Fix who had announced this. I'm trying to remember who it was. It'll probably come to me in a minute. Ford had spent billions upgrading a factory and realized that was it Ford in Germany? And for that matter, Volkswagen spent billions upgrading a factory, and they realized we've got dozens of these factories. If we're spending multiple billions per factory, we got to move some units just to amortize the cost. And by the way, these concepts, very fun. We've got the family Lamborghini. That's a nice look on the left. And the shoe, I don't know what this other one is. Do you think they're going to make cars that actually look like these?
The one on the right, possibly. The one on the left, I doubt it.
I'm with you. The one on the right, they just need to, talk about some blind spots, but if Cadillac can make the Celestiq with a comparable giant blind spot, great, go for it. And let's be honest, now that cameras are so good, do you need it? And see, yes, they announced they're going to be making these. They're going to be using Panasonic batteries. They plan to launch in North America in 2026. That's not too far out. The automaker declined to release specs about the new EVs, such as expected pricing, range, performance, and what it's actually going to look like, because this ain't it.
The trifecta of information, yes.
You know, little things. We can confirm it will have 4-ish wheels. It's a benefit. What do you think Honda's up to here? Too little, too late? What's going on?
Yeah, Honda's been struggling when it comes to EVs. What about their deal with GM that they had, that they produced the Prologue? They really knew that they've missed the boat on EVs, and they're struggling to get back in it. And they can't struggle into a model that doesn't sell. They have to come out of the gate with something that the public wants. So this is them trying to refine what they need and placing their bets on a couple of units. Hope it works well for them because Lord knows we could use Honda EVs. They're a dependable car maker. They make a lot. And they've got some loyal customers that would like to see an EV in their stable.
I agree on all points. So Honda is making their Prologue in Mexico at the GM factory. So I guess GM is making it for them. And the Acura, of which they also have 1 or 2 electric models, also made by GM, different factory. And I did just double check the article we looked at. This one doesn't say Panasonic batteries. Who knows? Maybe they're going to go with LG. Life's great, assuming you can keep the batteries from going en fuego, which is not a guarantee. Tesla uses LG batteries in some of their vehicles, no problem. GM had some problems with theirs, but then again, Tesla uses all kinds of different batteries in their mega packs, not very flamey. Moss Landing LG cells, very hot right now. Mazda's first dedicated EV will be built in Japan with Panasonic batteries. That's what I was confusing. I don't know which city in Ohio Iwakuni is, with an annual capacity of 10 gigawatt hours. That's enough to go Back to the Future 8 times, as I understand.
I believe that's just outside of Dayton, Brian.
I think that's right. Maybe Lily May, viewer Lily May, who is in Northeast Ohio, can tell us if Nagano Prefecture is just outside of. No. Mazda might be doing just fine without a dedicated EV. The Japanese automakers now stepping up electrification efforts in a big way. Is it? Yeah. Oh, it's the Yamaguchi Prefecture. Yamaguchi? Oh, I'm thinking Tamagotchi. Never mind. And that was, anyway, for its cylindrical battery modules. Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of Honda and Mazda, Mazda's another group that has really been late to the EV game. They've been someone that have just hung out there waiting and waiting and waiting. So hopefully the wait is worth what comes out.
I agree. And this car looks fantastic. I think this is a very reasonable, sensible design. I think it looks modern, elegant, not overly complicated. The front end, I get it. You still want it to look like a traditional car, even though it doesn't have the need for aspiration the way dyno burners do. And yeah, you've got some design cues, I guess, from Mercedes on this grille. That's fine. And then that's fine, I guess. This is what they look like. This is what cars look like now. So that's
interesting.
great.
In the back doors, they dropped the second handle and made it a suicide door, right?
Probably. Yeah, a little 2.5 kind of coupe there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those in a while. I'm trying to remember the last one I saw.
The last one I saw was on a pickup truck.
Oh, yes. But the more exciting news this week is Maruti Suzuki unveils eVitara at Auto Expo. This is a new car that is going to be built for the India market. And it is pretty good. Continue reading. There we go. Good. It does work. Sometimes I leave these tabs open so long during my research that paywalls are just like, you know what? If this guy's gonna spend a week reading this article, he should pay. 10-way power adjustable driver's seat. Well, at least we're covering the important parts here. In terms of the look, what do you think of it?
I don't like the look, but I know what they're going for. They're going for small SUV. I get it.
Yep. 144 horsepower. Not super exciting, but they're not going for super exciting. What they're going for is affordable. So let's grab the next story on this one. 7 features that make it special. Now, what kind of price and range do you think is critical for a new electric vehicle?
A new EV today, I would expect, would have to be north of 200 miles, if not 250. That would be my thought.
I agree with all that. The next article should cover it. Let's take a look. We've got 500 kilometers of range.
That's about 300 miles.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That'll do the trick. And let's see. Okay, so what we're looking at for the price is that it's going to be under 40,000.
Under 40.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. For the market in India, that is steep. That is steep, but I don't think it'll be quite that expensive in India. So that is reasonable. I do want to say that it is nice to see Japan finally getting on board with the electrification game. It is definitely overdue. Any thoughts you have to share before we get on to the Q&A from last week's show?
I'm glad to see that these are not more hydrogen vehicles. So anything into the electrification market, it will be a plus. Like you said, glad to see Japan is starting to think about this seriously.
Absolutely true on all points. So every week we answer your burning questions. This week I've got some slides prepared. The questions are not taking me completely by surprise. I did want to say, folks, I've applied tremendous pressure to get Mark to move his microphone closer, which he has done. I think he sounds great. Let us know in the comments how Mark sounds. I've also told him to just look better, and he said, I'm trying, Brian. I'm really doing my best. So
some things are out of my control.
I'm working with what the Lord give me. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we lost our cascade of great faces.
Have to start another one.
Okay. I was wondering your thoughts about converting old cars into electric. Can manufacturers do it? Probably offer it as a service. I think Aston Martin is doing it for their older vintage collection. What do you think?
So many people ask this question in the early days of EVs about converting an old car. My advice would be, if you love tinkering with cars, if you love building and repurposing and continually tinkering, go ahead and do this. But if you enjoy just driving a car and enjoy just getting out, turning the ignition and going, and that's it, and stopping, and then it works the exact same the next day, I would say stay clear of rebuilding a car.
Absolutely agree on all points. There was an episode of Car Talk I was listening to 15 years ago, where a guy called in and said, look, I am just so sick of cars that you can't repair. I'm thinking about buying an old, 70s, 60s vehicle because on that, I know I can fix it. And he said, don't, because although you can fix it, you will be fixing it. You must fix it. It's not that you can, it's that you must. That's why everyone knew how to fix cars, is because you had to. Otherwise, you would be not on the road much. There are companies all over the world that do precisely this. I had an interview in England with these fine gentlemen. Smack myself the like. Yeah, you guys can like this video as well. And if you do go back and check out this video, apologies. The AI used to clean up background noise was overly aggressive, and sometimes it sounds like he's demonically possessed. I had a viewer from England who was listening to this, and he was convinced he had had a stroke. Paul, I apologize. That was, he was like, they sound like words. They're not words. Let's see if we can hear it.
Engineers to understand what was going on. They were eccentric.
500 to 1,000 pounds of lead acid.
Absolutely. A stack of DC motors that would spark when the brushes ran out. Yeah, but also
Not
you were
too bad in
finding
that
people
clip,
doing.
but in parts of it sounds real bad. But it's fun, you guys. And looking at the room, where do you think this shop is?
It looks like in some part of the London Underground. An old subway station, maybe.
That's a very, very good guess. It is under the elevated tracks near a station. So those archways you see, he's under the archways. What a perfect place for a shop like this. It's great. Also, there's in Florida, I went to the shop there in Ocala, where they also do this. The thing is, it's expensive. Forget what car you're using. You bring in your own donor car, and it's going to cost, 30 grand. Depending on how fancy you want it, all that. It's real expensive. Okay, let's get back to the questions. Do you think the front light bar on the all-new Teslas are there to signal that your cybercab is approaching your location for pickup?
Excellent idea. This certainly could be something that maybe flash a color. What a great idea that could be.
I love it. The beauty is it's a Tesla. So if the answer is no, we had never thought of that, the answer could be, oh, that's a great idea. It's rolling out in 2 weeks. Let's not say 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a kind of a cursed increment of time in Teslaverse. Gary asks, I think his name's Gary. Anyway, Mr. Caldwell asks, what was the launch code? It was outside the screen. Did you know the launch code was 8 zeros in a row? And this article by Bruce Blair says, from March of 2015 says, A code consisting of 8 zeros has never been used, as claimed by Dr. Bruce Blair. Well, I am Dr. Bruce Blair, and in a nutshell, my claim was and is that prior to 1977, a panel inside Minuteman underground launch control centers used to electronically unlock with 8 zeros. So there's your launch code, my friends. It is straight zeros. Apparently, it was like supposed to be the default, you start with that and then you change it and do whatever. But because of some goof, that was the launch code. So time travelers, please don't abuse this information. You know what they say, the best cybersecurity is all zeros.
The best security is no security.
The best security is the luggage combination from Spaceballs. Inquiry for Mutt and Jeff. I'll take it. You know what? That gets a thumbs up right there. It was once commented that Tesla performed changes and innovations at the speed of thought. Sandy Munro said that. Is Tesla now transforming into your father's OEM? No major changes such as 48 volts, steerable wire, etc. in its product line until 26 or 27. Thoughts?
That's a fair criticism. Tesla, as it grows and gets bigger and demands that they sell X amount of cars by the stockholders, is slowing down somewhat. I would agree with some innovation is taking time. They can't just go around and switch the Model Y radically different in order to add 48 volt or do something else with it. It's something that has to be planned and brought in at a slower pace. I agree.
It is. So the question, there could have been a better example given. The 48 volt, the real problem there is you've got a global supply chain that's all tooled for 12 volt. They started with the Cybertruck. They're getting their suppliers competent, and they will, of course, make that change as soon as they can. If the suppliers all said collectively tomorrow, we're ready, they would do it across all their lines, but they're just not there. They're hoping for more manufacturers to get on board so it moves more quickly. That's why Elon sent the engineering report to all those companies. If it's true that he put get on board XOXO Elon, maybe don't do that, because that is, as cute and clever as it is, slows adoption. Let's troll less, shall we? Because that's not helpful. A better example would be the Model S and X are still on Panasonic cells from Japan when why aren't they on 2170s? Why aren't they on 4680s? Because the line's running. The line's running. Let's not make too big of changes. And we see a lot of stuff like that. While they do iterate much quicker than anyone else, they are now themselves a big player and have some of those problems. Guys, fun fact, the Tesla Life show is small and cozy. I think on the listing, we'll just put cozy and let buyers see it for themselves when they get there. They are almost monetized. It has taken this long, which is unacceptable. So if you get a chance to check them out, it is a fun channel. It is a fun show. And Mark, Patrick, and Casey do fantastic work, and they're all around swell dudes. Unfortunately, I will not be meeting Casey in Chattanooga. He said, look, Brian, I have some bad news. I'm expecting a child. Right around then, I will not be able to come. And I said, wow, that is really disappointing for your wife, but maybe you can catch the next child, because, I mean, this is a chance of a lifetime meeting me. And he
still turned you down after that little speech, huh?
He appreciated the joke, but apparently values his family and his marriage more, which is, off-putting a little, I guess. It hits me a little bit, but I have magnificent coping skills for everything except the temperature. So if you're annoyed that my hair is flippy-flopping, it is because it is dark chilly here. It is very, very cold in the fridge. And I call it that because, I have, my condiments are handy. I normally rush to put them right back in the fridge, but where's the rush?
No need.
No need. They're fine. They are stable, unlike me. Guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it in them comments below. If you have a question, by all means ask. Even if you've asked it before and we haven't answered it, we're not avoiding it. It's just that we can't do all of them. Get them in early. All that. And yeah, just that.